On this recent development in court, as the court is expected to reconvene at 3:50 p.m. Nigerian time. Away from that, the United Kingdom has issued a new warning to Russia after a Russian intelligence gathering vessel named the Yanta allegedly directed light lasers at the Royal Air Force pilots during surveillance operations off the coast of Scotland. The UK Ministry of Defence has confirmed this incident, saying it is being taken extremely seriously. UK Defence Secretary John Hurley says the Yanta has been operating on the edge of UK waters for several weeks, marking its second deployment to the area this year. Mr. Hurley says the vessel is designed for intelligence gathering and mapping undersea cables. He adds that it is the second time the ship had been deployed to the United Kingdom waters. He was addressing a news conference in Downing Street today.
As I speak, a Russian spy ship, the Yantar, is on the edge of UK waters north of Scotland, having entered the UK's wider waters over the last few weeks. This is a vessel designed for gathering intelligence and mapping our undersea cables. We deployed a Royal Navy frigate and RAF P-8 planes to monitor and track this vessel's every move, during which the Yantar directed lasers at our pilots. That Russian action is deeply dangerous, and this is the second time this year that this ship, the Yantar, has deployed to UK waters.
And to discuss this brewing tension in Europe with me is a global affairs analyst, Kachi Ononuji. It's good to have you join us at this time. From a global security standpoint, what does the presence of a Russian intelligence gathering vessel at the edge of UK waters really signal for Moscow's intention?
Yes, thank you for having me. I could tell you straight away that Moscow simply it's not minding those things. There is a lot of frustrations in Europe, especially now that Moscow is looking at the bigger picture, and that is, it is finalizing on the agreements with the United States in regards to Ukraine's issue. So all those other things you see, what you call collateral securitization issues. The primary issue today is the reasons why the oil markets are jumpy, and they're very happy because they do believe that the series of agreements being reached, as I speak to you, between Russia and Washington are actually going to definitely become of great importance to the issues of Ukraine.
And we've seen the Defense Secretary for the United Kingdom saying that this is the first time and they are not going to take this lightly. But how should we be interpreting Russia's, renewed interest in undersea cable mapping? Does this, indicate preparations for a potential hybrid warfare or pressure on Western states itself?
Well, it's always been there. That problem has been there. Don't forget when the Nord Stream pipeline were undermined, it's the same thing. So we're going to probably see an increase in activities in the undersea assets that are owned by both Russia and now also the other people from the other side, which, as you said right now, are issues like cables and so on. Russia does own the Nord Stream, gas pipeline, and we hear those pipelines were undermined some time ago. So it is simply a region where everybody does have assets. And I believe there might be talks between all the people in regards to the protection of undersea assets. So this, I should say, is probably just the first time that, yes, not the first time when harm has come to undersea assets, but the very first time other people are also crying. Previously, it was Russia that was crying that its undersea Nord Stream assets were undermined, and we said that maybe the United States did that, and now you're having other people now complaining about their own undersea assets. So I believe there may be also, in the very near future, securitization talks to protect the undersea assets of everyone else.
And it's funny that this is, coming up in the conversations where nations are really, taking their stance as to who will defend their territory. We've seen the Yanta in, recent years making similar deployment. How do you expect the United Kingdom to really react to this? I believe that Russia is trying to reinforce perhaps this repeated action.
Russia has been the big loser in terms of its assets undermined in the underseas assets administration, and that the Nord Stream assets. And so if you're having other people now complain that their own assets are also being undermined, then what that tells you is if everybody feels this challenge, if everybody thinks that their assets are coming under severe issues, then everybody should sit down to talk about securitization of everybody's undersea assets.
And talking about the mechanism that will perhaps, bring everyone together, and that will perhaps be NATO in this situation. We've seen global tensions rising from Eastern Europe to the Middle East. This maneuver by Russia.
Well, you're talking about the mechanism.
Right. Go ahead.
You're talking about mechanism, but look at the mechanism we're looking at now. There is a war on in Ukraine, and then look at the mechanism that's been chosen to actually try to bring peace. It is the United States and Russia. So what about the other parties? You're not even talking about Ukraine on the table. What about the other members of NATO? Then nobody saw them on the table. You're not telling us, and we're hearing that the markets are very excited because they do feel, they do feel assured that the mechanism that is now being pursued in bringing peace to Ukraine seems to be acceptable to everybody. And what that mechanism? United States and Russia, the only two parties discussing this. And it seems to be going so well that the markets are now excited about it. So who told you that tomorrow it may not be the same mechanism that could be employed? This is the first time we're seeing this kind of crisis in Europe, and then nobody knows the mechanism that will be used to bring resolution. We have seen the very first mechanism being applied, and it is talks between Russia and the United States. So maybe in future, it could still be United States on behalf of everyone else talking to Russia. And then that probably is where we're going to see going forward.
And that's been the position, really, from what we've seen in recent times, the United States, talking on behalf of other countries to Russia. We're hoping that it does not, lead to that. But does this seem like a larger part of the chessboard of, Russia testing NATO's resolve in bringing these nations together?
Well, you heard what Mr. Trump said. He says this issue, the reasons why it is the United States and Russia on the table, that the war, by and large, is between Russia and the United States, that Ukraine is a proxy. So who knows, in the future, the United States might still tell you that every other person is a proxy, that the real case should be between United States and Russia. So if it works in this very first instance, who told you it will not work going forward in other instances?
And whether we like it or not, there seems to be an ongoing global conflict about, technology, digital infrastructure being a major front line in the geographical conflicts that we've seen across nations. We're waiting out to see what this will really mean for the United Kingdom and, of course, their response. That's a fine place to leave it for now. Thank you for talking to us. Global Affairs Analyst,
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for joining us.